Hello, my name's John Thorington, and I want to thank you for your interest in our Teen Intensive. We're really excited about what we're able to do to help teens. I've been doing this since the year 2003, and I have really been committed to bringing the finest in terms of excellence, in terms of care, to our teens, but also trying to combine something that for most parents is very important to them. For one, what we do is we bring the best in standard of care practice that's available out there today. For example, back in 2006, I received my certification as a sexual addiction therapist. I maintained that until 2015, but then decided to go for a different certification, which now I'm certified as a sexual recovery therapist. In the world that you and I live in today, that represents the highest level of training. So we try to combine the best that is out there and available in the world of counseling practice, but also, number two, we really want to bring to your young teen the experience of knowing completely what the Judeo-Christian faith has to say. And so if your teen comes here, we will do our very best to help them to know how to overcome the addiction that they're struggling with, but as well to know what God's design, what His purpose is for their lives. As you know as a parent, everything about your teen's future hinges on this very important aspect of their life. Is the Teen Intensive something that is appropriate for you and your teen? Let me share with you 5 different situations where, for most people, this would be the answer for them. The Teen Intensive would be something they would want to decide for. Number one is this, and you can notice this over here. Most of the families that call us are in a time of crisis. Perhaps you've just learned that your teen is involved in activities online. You're deeply alarmed about that, and you're reaching out because you know now's the time that action be taken. If that's your situation, the Teen Intensive is most likely the place for you. The second thing that we see the most often is what I would define as the situation where the counseling, you've been in counseling for a while, but your teen is not making progress. In other words, it's proven to be ineffective. The Teen Intensive has a very successful track record. From the best of our knowledge through our research, at least 72% of the teens we've worked with have been free for at least a year after. So we know that what we do is working. If you find that right now the counseling your teen is going through has proven ineffective, this particular format that we use, I believe, could be the answer for you and your teen. There's another situation where what we offer is very effective, and that is many times parents are overwhelmed that the counseling is helping, but it's not enough. The situation requires more. Sometimes people will look at inpatient, but for most families, that's beyond their financial ability. So, in order to step up the level of getting treatment, what we offer here with the intensive is a higher level of treatment, and literally the feedback we've gotten over the years is that what we do is really amounting to about a year's worth of therapy. So, if you're looking for something that could be a great addition to what you've been doing in the counseling, but it's not been enough, the Teen Intensive format most likely will be the answer for you. There are a couple of other situations that I think what we do is uniquely designed to help certain families and situations. The fourth one that we find is that many times the family does find a counselor, but they're not making enough progress, and they know that this is a very important issue in the life of their teen. Perhaps you have a 16, 17-year-old and you know that you have a very limited, narrow window. The Teen Intensive format offers you as a parent a great opportunity to promote and to experience progress in the treatment and recovery program of your teen. There's another situation too where this could be helpful to you. Many of the teens that we worked with literally have experienced life-changing events in their stories, in their brief years. Perhaps there's been a trauma. We not only specialize in the area of addiction, but we also have been highly trained in the field of trauma. You may not know, but those two things oftentimes do go together. So if your teen has experienced trauma and you're wanting specialized help for that, the 3-day intensive is an ideal format for that. Let me just share with you, one of the very unique things that we do here is a lot of folks will look into intensives. They can be very costly. We've done our very best to keep this cost effective. But one of the things we've done, and it meets our needs, but I believe it will meet the needs of most of the families that are looking into our intensive, is we offer our intensive on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. So for most families, that's more convenient and usually means less loss of income for a mom or dad that has a job during the week. That particular format, what we do is we do not do a group process where we have multiple people that come in here. What we do is we work for the individual and the family. So for example, I would want you to know this. Before you would even bring your teen here to Colorado Springs where we do the intensive, we work with you and with your teen in order to get a very accurate assessment and evaluation. So the assessment tools that we use, you as a parent would fill some of the paperwork out, but so would your teen. It's important that we gather as much information as possible in order to have an accurate assessment, in order to design a treatment program for that weekend that's going to maximize that opportunity for the benefit of your teen and your family. Lots of the families that come here like that about what we do, and I think it's a good thing. There are some other things that I would share with you. We do know that what we offer is a real solution to a real problem, but I do have to say this. No one can offer a cure-all. So what we do is this. Your teen comes here, we give them an action plan, they have a direction for their life, but before you and your teen go, we also put into place what we call an aftercare plan. And what this will do is ensure the long-term success of your teen in overcoming this particular battle. Some of the key elements of that aftercare program will involve things like strengthening the spiritual life of your teen, of your son or daughter. Also, whenever possible, trying to provide group support. If we can't help you to find that in your local community, we are also offering online support groups for teens. Another area is making sure that your teen is going to have ongoing counseling, at least in most cases, for a year after the intensive. And then another very significant component of recovery is trying to find a mentor, someone that you and your family trust, a godly person that's willing to be in an accountability relationship with your son or daughter. I'm sure you can gather from what we're saying that the Teen Intensive is really a unique design, specially put together to meet the unique needs of your teen son or daughter. We are delighted to have the opportunity, as we have had in the past, to work with literally hundreds of families. We hope that you'll give consideration to what we do and pray about that. It would be our pleasure. We would love to serve your family. If we can be of help, please give us a call at 719-644-5557. Blessings to you and your family.